Right, good morning everyone. Today we've got a 20k easy, but I'm going to class it as a super easy because, to be honest, I'm still recovering from the 70k. As I said before, the distance wasn't too bad, but just some of those hills really finished me off. And you get a very different kind of tiredness when you've done a longer, more intense ride like that, or longer ride most specifically rather than intense. The shorter intense rides, I find that I recover from those much more quickly. Those longer rides, just as they take longer to do, they take longer to recover from. So I'm still feeling the effects, but otherwise okay. So yeah, now having done a 70k, I'm feeling very confident that I can do the full 86 from London to Brighton. And from what I've heard, if you can do about 3/4 of the distance without too much difficulty, then on the day, just the extra adrenaline and everything else kind of kicks in and allows you to go that much further. Plus I'm going to be riding with a friend, so that's going to be good motivation. So yeah, all in all, feeling fairly confident. I just wish I could do the hills a bit better. That's where the hill wraps come in. It's weird, I mean, I've been doing the hill wraps every week, and recently they've been hard hill reps, or at least they're supposed to be, and I thought I was doing some fairly hard hill reps, but maybe it means more do some reps on a hard hill as opposed to just pick any hill and go hard, if you see what I mean. And that's going to be difficult for a lot of people, I would imagine. Not everyone's got different grades and intensities of hills near them that they can practice on, so that's tricky. I think after my experience with that tough hill at the end of the 70k, I mean, that's pretty much what it's like going to be doing Ditchling Beacon at the end of the London to Brighton. Although I think Ditchling Beacon might even be a bit harder than that one. It's very clear to me now that I'm not going to be able to do it, not at this stage, and not after having already done 60k. But never mind, maybe I'll have a go, see how I get on. There's no shame in it at this point. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling and get on with doing this 20k. Oh gosh, quite a headwind today. When I did that 70k, on the way out everything felt fine. It's weird, when you've got a tailwind you don't really notice it. Like, it's more like, because you're moving and the air's moving along with you, it's more like just riding in still air almost. But as soon as you turn around you suddenly realise which direction the wind is actually blowing in. And Alright, not too many flies out today, which is nice. It's a bit cooler, which is also nice. And it's an easy ride, which is also nice. I like these ones, as you can tell. distance travelled up on my phone, and maybe that's a bit of a mistake, because just keep glancing at it. It's like clock watching when you want to go home at the end of the day after work. So one of the things I was a bit concerned about with the 70k was getting saddle sores. Weirdly, for the most part, I haven't had any problems with that at all. But on a couple of the couple of the longer rides, like 50, 60k ones, I have been a bit sore afterwards. And so I just chucked a whole load of moisturising cream on before I went yesterday. No problem whatsoever. Nothing, not even, I mean, I'm a little bit achy, but really okay. So if you don't have specific chamois cream, don't worry about it. Just get a reasonable and quite thick, if you can, moisturiser. Just lather a whole load on before you set off. So the friend who I'm doing London to Brighton with, I've said this before, he's interested in doing London to Paris, and I've said that I'd be quite keen to try that next year. He's planning on doing it over like 4 days, so it makes the distance each day much more manageable. But I'm starting to realise now that, you know, you don't completely reset at the end of the day to being totally fresh. You know, there's still an element of fatigue that builds up, and starting to think that actually it's going to be harder than it sounds, because that cumulative fatigue is just going to start to get to me. But we'll see. I mean, we've got the whole day to do the distance, so, you know, we could even split each day up into 2 shorter rides. I'm sure that's what we'll do. And then have a leisurely French lunch, and then at the end of the day be able to go back to a nice B&B or something. I mean, you know, this isn't bike packing. We're going to be kind of like the equivalent of glamping. Well, not even that. I mean, it's just staying in B&Bs. So it's more of a holiday than anything else. But it sounds fun. So sorry again for the 70k footage screw up. Such an idiot. So, yeah, as I said, I was so focused on making sure that my battery was topped up. I forgot to empty the memory card. I'm normally very good about. So I'm basically making all the mistakes now and hopefully avoiding too many on the day. Starting to feel really tired now. Going into this headwind, and there's only a very small incline here. Looking forward to my rest day tomorrow, and then I've got hard hill reps. Oh gosh, nothing can be quite as hard as the hill at the end of that 70k though, surely. Not when you've already done 65k. Anyway, I'll probably go back to Greenwich. I thought that was a really good hill to practice on. Steepish, certainly long, well, longer than the other ones I've been on. Just a good length for me really to allow me to recover. I might try something different. Before I was just doing very steady seated climbs, with a fairly short turnaround time. From what I've heard, doing more sort of interval style climbs are good. So in other words, going flat out and then giving yourself a full sort of 5 minutes or so to recover either side. One of the reviews I read of this bike before I bought it did say that the saddle it came with was very uncomfortable and they'd swapped it for a different one. I didn't really know what to expect, what was a comfortable saddle versus an uncomfortable saddle, and I've not had any chance to try any others, so stuck with this one, and mostly it's been okay, but I have a feeling that unless you just fit a massive sofa to the top of your bike, anything's going to become uncomfortable after enough time sat on it. My hands are going numb. Weirdly, that's not really a problem I had very much on the 70k ride. I was just naturally, I guess because the terrain was quite varied, I was frequently shifting my hand position naturally anyway, and so it didn't become too much of a problem. So I think at the end of the summer, once I've done the London to Brighton and anything else that I may or may not be doing later in the year, I think I'm going to seriously consider getting a turbo trainer, just so I can carry on doing some rides over the winter months. Maybe the weather's not so good. I know that if I don't keep something up over the winter, well, I know exactly what can happen. I just lose all the fitness I've built up. I put on all the weight that I've lost, and I'm back to starting from scratch again. That was 20k easy, as usual, taking it very easy. It's just a bit of a grind, that one. It was just do the distance, get it out of the way. I mean, it's a lovely day and it's cool and I'm by the seaside and everything, but just still feeling tired and just needed to get that one out of the way. So yeah, that was 20k easy. Rides get mostly easier from here on in. I do have 150k between now and the actual London to Brighton date. It's actually just going to be in 2 weeks now, the London to Brighton. So yeah, I got 150k and then mostly sort of 15, 20, 30k's. So nothing too bad. And then the hard hill reps, I guess. The last week is definitely taking it easy. I think I've just got a couple of 15k easies or moderates or something. So nothing to worry about. Just trying to conserve my energy and rest my legs at that point, ready for the big day. I realised that I'm taking this hilariously seriously. It's a charity bike ride, and in case I haven't mentioned it recently, I'm doing this in aid of Parkinson's UK, who provide help and advice and support to people suffering from Parkinson's, and also fund research into trying to find more effective treatments and potentially a cure. So if there is anyone out there who'd be willing to sponsor me for this, I and everybody else who either has Parkinson's or knows people who've got it would be immensely grateful. So it's a really worthwhile charity, and I urge you to support it if you can. So thank you very much indeed for coming today. That was 20k easy, and I'll be back soon. Thanks. Bye.